everybody, and welcome to the Digital to Dice podcast. I am Dave.
I'm Ron.
And today we hit episode 44.
The Hank Aaron episode.
It is number 44. That's my favorite number, too, by the way. It's my hockey number when I play forward.
It's the Dave Gardner episode. It's the Reggie Jackson episode.
Holy cow, you're right. Holy cow. So many 44s out there. Unbelievable.
It's like it's almost a formula or something. There.
Oh, stop. Anyway. Hey, we're going to do something different today, something we haven't done yet, and it's almost been a year.
You. Oh, no.
We're going to have just a what's called a fireside chat today. And what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of chat. We were trying to come up with a topic, and we really couldn't nail one down, so we said, let's just chat, the two of us, about some of the things we enjoy about gaming, especially at a difficult time in the world or whatever. So that's what we're going to do today. Before we get to that, though, some things going on here. The phone number here, 978-751-DICE, 978-751-3423. If you want to send us a text that we may not read on the show. Digitaltodice.com is the website. That's where you can find all of our episodes parked over there on Spreaker.com. And Facebook, growing group over there on Facebook.
330 plus?
Holy smokes. Yeah, that is getting big now. Facebook.com/group/digitaltodice. And we're posting a lot of projects. People have, questions about games. I ask questions about games and get answers there as well. So it's a pretty good community of people in the gaming world.
Yes.
That are connected to the podcast somehow or some way. So Facebook.com/group/digitaltodice. So many ways to get a hold of us there. Well, we could kick off with what we're playing, and then we'll get into the fireside chat. But, of course, we have to start with this.
Aunt Becky, did you get that tattoo in prison too?
How many tattoos does she have now?
Well, if she did some time in the Slammer, probably 2 or 3.
Okay.
You got to pass those nights somehow.
Okay. She's probably out by now anyway.
I would think so.
Yeah. We've been doing a lot of Aunt Becky's here, so.
It was meant to be a one-off.
It was, and
here we are a year later.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, let's see. What have I been playing there, Ron? I went back to my hockey stuff. I had the basketball phase, and somehow I just ended back up with hockey.
Was that in college? Did you experiment with basketball in college?
I'm terrible at basketball. That's why I'm not a basketball guy, because I can't shoot a hoop to save my life. So I went back to I've been alternating between Stratomatic hockey and Hockey Blast. And I mean, like, I'll play a game of Strat, put it all away, and I'll put all Hockey Blast, and I'll play a game of Hockey Blast, and then I'll put it all away and pull out Strat again. For some reason, I'm not smart enough to play 2 games in a row. Yeah, but I've been enjoying going back and forth between the two.
You like the variety, though.
I do. That's one of the things is I like to do different things. And now that I have the time, I can play all these different games here and try them out and learn them and the whole bit. So I've been getting a little bit better at Hockey Blast. I did have one funny video the other day I did where the beginning of the game just started off with all this craziness. And I was just like, man, I'm getting better at it, and I'm liking the game more. But boy, when it starts to, like a game of Plinko, when it starts to fall down, towards the bottom, you can be forever trying to sort things out.
See, when I have a stream that starts like that, I'll go, we're off like a herd of thundering turtles.
Yeah. And I kept it going because I've done that, and I've started and stopped. Okay, I'm going to just restart, because I wasn't live, so I could just record it again and then get a better game, so to speak. But I was just like, wow. So I kept it going and gutted it out. We had a fun time with the game, or at least I had a fun time in the game. So, so I've been doing some recordings. I haven't really done a lot of live stuff lately. It just kind of hasn't worked out. I've been enjoying my time, and that's what we'll get to in the fireside chat is why I've been doing what I've been doing. But mostly been playing those two. I have tried to chip away at the Apple hockey. Okay, I still have that.
Better luck with that?
I've kind of decided that it's not the time for that. Is that I got a little further in the game. It's making more sense. Some people have been helping me with some things that they've been posting on Digital to Dice. I've watched some of the videos again on YouTube. So I'm getting a better idea, but it just seems like every time I turn a page in the manual, it just goes down another rabbit hole of stuff that you have to either remember or memorize. And where I am today in my head is not ready to tackle on something that I consider a very deep game with a lot of things going on, which at some point I'm probably going to love the fact that I can find a hockey game that has a ton of things going on. Right now where I am, it's not the time for that game. So I have not pulled that out in a few days, and every time I pull it out, I get a little further, which is good. So I am making progress, but it's one of these things I'm not ready for that. It's just not the game for me right now. So I'm gonna stick with the hockey blast and the strat hockey and the shootout hockey, which are my mainstays for that right there. I don't know if I've played anything beyond hockey, to tell you the truth. I did order History Maker.
You did a video on it.
I did a video.
You did the Red Sox and the Orioles from '76.
Oh, yes, I did. I played All-Star Lineup Baseball.
It's a good thing that one of us pays attention to what you do.
I'm telling you, this is why we're doing Fireside Chat, because I don't, I can't stay focused. Yes, I did. I played. I did a video on All-Star Lineup Baseball. I played some old school baseball there, trying out my new setup where I shoot from above.
I liked it.
And I got my little light that I bought, a little LED light that I bought off to the side. It's kind of tough trying to get that light just right. Even the hockey blast, it's a little bright, but it's like I have it so far across the room that I can't put it any further, and it's still too bright. But I guess I'd rather have too bright than too dark. So,
is that one of those hats you got from your mom?
No, it wasn't. It was one I got at the flea market up there in New Hampshire.
Okay.
There, yeah. And I actually went to Christmas tree shop, and they were cheap at the Christmas tree shop, if you can believe it.
Don't you just love a bargain?
I do. So I grabbed a couple more, so now I can maybe put one on each side if I have to, or if I can put them down here or whatever. And whatever, they were cheap enough, and they're bright enough, and there's different levels of brightness, and I can turn them. It's like a gooseneck. So, so I tried a different setup, kind of a top down. So it worked good for Hockey Blast, and I tried it for All-Star Lineup Baseball, and it worked good for that.
It looked good.
Yep, that was a fun game. And I'm using my ScoreCam app so I can have the scoreboard overlay, whether it's hockey or baseball or whatever I play. I have a scoreboard overlay that works with a couple of the devices I have, and I can change the time and change the score and change the period. And so you can follow along. So if you want to watch the video, you're actually following along what's going on. The baseball one is neat because you can follow the guys on base, too. It has like the little diamond. Yeah, so you can tap to see who's on first, second, and third. So that was fun. So, so I play a little bit of baseball with that. So, yeah, I've been just kind of cranking out the one-offs. I haven't really wanted to tackle a big project.
You like the one-offs anyway.
Yeah, the only one I will say that I'm doing, and I'll get into the Fireside Chat, is I have been playing a lot of the 69-70 Boston Bruins season, and we'll talk about that in the chat end of this thing here. But mostly that's what I've been playing. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. It's just back to hockey. A quick game of baseball there. I did try advanced strat baseball. And that went okay. I might have talked about this last week. I'm not sure when I played that. It went okay.
We were talking about it, I think, when we taped last week.
Okay, yeah. So I need to go back and do some more of that and get into the groove of it is what I need to do, because it's a couple of extra steps in the whole bit. But I did like some of the offerings that it did over basic. So that was about that. So simple stuff this week. Kind of playing some of the the staples, the meat and potatoes of my gaming. I've been playing mostly. So what's been up with you over there?
Let's see. Some 78 baseball as we're now moving into August and that portion of the replay. Doing some planning for some future projects, including by the time that, next weekend or Father's Day weekend, we're doing my next virtual golf tournament, because this should have been the U.S. Open next weekend, which is my favorite tournament of the year. I love to watch golfers suffer. They go play on these beautifully manicured courses on greens that are smoother and short with no hair, and shoot 15 to 20 under par, the winning score. And then you go to the Open, and the rough is 6 inches thick, and the fairways are narrow, and the greens are fast, and they whine all weekend, and it's great. And par is usually the winning score.
Do you like when they miss hit?
I love it when they miss it. I was watching golf yesterday.
You like when they hit 250%? Do you like when they hit 250%?
Yes, yeah. I do. It's realistic. You see, Jordan Spieth put one. I was watching yesterday, Jordan Spieth at Colonial. He put one. I'm watching going, that's a good 10 to 15 degrees offline, but no one ever hits that, do they? Anyway, I like it. We'll talk about it when I actually do the rounds, but it's just, look, golf, major championship golf at that level is an examination of your physical, mental, and emotional game. And the one that survives is the winner. And so that's how I was brought up. Look, I'm a Red Sox fan. Being sadistic is my middle name. My first name is Ain't Baby. It's Janet, Miss Jackson.
So is it Ron? It's Ron S. Jacket? Is that what it is? Ron S.
It's Ron Sadistic Jacket.
That's actually, what I thought. Yeah. Can we call you RS? Can we call you RSJ? That'd be so cool. RSJ.
It would be, actually, if you want to get technical, it's RBJ.
I like RSJ. I like stage name RSJ.
RSJ. Yes.
That could be the name of your channel, RSJ Productions. That'd be fantastic.
It would be. Just create your own stuff.
RSJ Sports.
I'm getting another banner, by the way. Anyway, so doing that, and I've also, in all the Roberto Civini stuff that we had, and all his sales, I've decided to, and I'm not sure how I'm doing this yet, but because there's no Summer Olympics this year, that I'm going to recreate the Tokyo Games of 1964. And so in the process of that, I now have the rule sets for sports I never thought I would even watch. I was watching, you can talk about this a little bit later too, I was watching Olympic shooting yesterday. And, air shooting and biathlon stuff. I have the rules on how to play judo.
That's awesome.
And so just kind of took some time to play this week. New game, early access game on Steam, and has nothing to do with sports. I'm a political junkie as well. And political games are few and far between. And so this one is called The Political Process. And you can basically create your own character and be any age you want and simulate your own political career. Whether you want to start off on the Saugus, Massachusetts School Board and work your way through and get elected to city council, mayor, governor, U.S. House, Senate, state, or start as president and work your way back down. I was playing with that on Friday, and I like it. The problem is it doesn't really give you, it's like I said, still in early access. So I started a career, got elected to the state senate, and the game doesn't create any other bills than the ones that you start. So it needs some work in that aspect. Mm-hmm. But I liked it. You got put on a committee, and you had to argue things on the committee, and you had influence. And I think it could be really, really well done. It just needs to have a little more for you to do besides just click next turn.
Well, if it's a fairly new game, maybe they'll start.
It's a fairly new game, and it says right in the Steam description that's early access.
Okay, so that's something that usually will fix.
But I was impressed with it. It kind of used your head, and you got challenges from citizens. Put this legislation up. You may or may not agree with it, but and so.
Oh, cool.
It was deep. It was deep, but it wasn't it's not overwhelmingly deep.
There was a game I played on Steam I enjoyed. It's called Video Game Developer or something like that, or Game Dev. And you start off in your garage or your bedroom, and you start hammering out a game like back in the, I don't know if it's the 70s or the 80s. You actually start off, your career, and you pick the game, and you only have so many skills to start. So you pick the game that you want. And there's three or four things about the game that you pick, and you could have like a sports football game that plays on the console, or you could have a word type of game that plays on the PC, and then you develop your game. And the longer you do it, you get more bugs, and so you got to decide how long you want to work on the game and how many bugs you're going to get rid of. And the longer you work on the game, then the more it costs you to make the game. So it's kind of a balancing act. And then
I like those.
And then you finally release the game, and you see how it does. And you read the reviews and the whole bit. And some of your games absolutely flop, and some of your games do absolutely fantastic. There
was one I played back 15, 20 years ago called Hollywood Mogul. I
Okay.
think it was Hollywood Mogul 2. And it gave you had like a 35-year career, and you basically were like Louis Mayer or Cecil B. DeMille. It was your job to, they put you at the head of a studio, and you had to come up with ideas and green light movies and all that. So you got to go through the process of not actually writing things, but hiring in different types of movies and all that. And I'm not someone who likes movies, but I found it really engrossing. And so if you had something, you could have what you would thought would be like an Ishtar thing. You could spend millions of dollars and get the best scripts and the best talent. And no one wants to see it. And then you do something trashy and it makes $3 billion.
Yeah.
Obviously, so that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You just never knew.
Sounds like the kind of thing that I had, because I would develop football games and they would do well, and then I would try to. It's a great idea for a sci-fi, and I'd lose everything. In fact, there was one time I think I ended up having I had $1 million, and I had a big office and I hired some people, and the next game flopped and we lost everything, and we had to downsize. And,
I love it. Yeah. That's great.
It's hard. It was a hard game. It was fun, and you could play it in 10 or 15 minutes. It really wasn't a long game, but it was, figuring out to do all these games, and do you research the game, and do you research new skills, and what skills do you open, and it was fun. It was hard to easy to play, hard to win, but it was fun. It was a good time. So
that's what I've been playing. Oh, cool. So because I'm doing golf next weekend, trying to take some time this weekend, so I'm not streaming 18 straight days.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And the weather's been nice. We haven't even done the support chat in about a week now. It's just been nice, and there's been things going on, and you start having appointments after work. She's been having appointments after work, so we're having late dinners, and it's just, we did a couple of support shows, and we didn't get a lot of people because it was so nice out, and it's just, no one wants to be sitting around on the computer watching us jibber jabber. When it was cold and 30 degrees, that was different, so hopefully we'll get back at it once or twice a week as the better weather comes here, so we can chat more things with everybody. So that ain't going away. It's just been I've been a little bit more busy. You've been a little bit more busy. You got new schedules with the people coming in over there at your place, and so things just kind of changed in the last few weeks, and that's why it hasn't been easy for us to find the time to do it. So anyway, should we get on to the Fireside Chat?
Let's get right to it. I'm picking the pineapple off the pizza, okay?
The pineapple on the pizza. Good stuff there. So anyway, so we decided that today we would just kind of chat a little bit and try to make it a positive chat. And what kind of struck me on this topic here was last Sunday, I got a message from a friend of mine, someone that I don't usually hang out with. Okay, just one of these people that I know through. I'm not going to say where I know him from, but I know him, whatever. And it's just we just don't hang out. That's just how it is being this guy, And there's a lot of people I know that I don't hang out with. Okay, and he sends me this message and he says, "I don't want to be alone right now," and I knew exactly what he meant.
Oh yeah,
and I just walked the dog and I cut the grass and I was tired. I was actually laying in bed like, man, I'm beat. Just want to chill out here and watch TV. And I says, no, I can't let this guy be alone right now, And so I said, let's meet. And he goes, when you want to meet? And he goes, right now. I says, okay, we'll meet right now. And so we met, and we ended up chatting for a couple of hours. And it's something where I think that's what that guy needed at that point in his life.
Yeah.
And I happen to be the guy that he contacted. So one of the things we brought up in that conversation was how I get through bad days is to do something you enjoy, no matter what it is. And I says, and then for me, being out of work, I try to do something productive, okay? Whether it's a load of laundry, whether it's clean my office, whether it's cut the grass, whether it's wash the car. As stupid as that sounds, it's something productive that I need to do because you can't go anywhere. They haven't even opened up the parks yet where I am. I can't go skating. I can't play hockey. I can walk the dog, which I do every day. But I can't sit at a restaurant and I can't go to the movies. So I need to do something productive. So I told him I do something productive and I do something fun. And for me, the fun right now is playing these games. And that kind of dovetails into the fireside chat here is that I didn't realize until the last few days, maybe it was that night after I went home after talking to him and I set up the games on the dining room table, how important playing these games have been to me the last 3 months.
Absolutely.
And even before that, because you have good days and bad days and days at work that stick. And playing these games have been a lifesaver for me. Because that is when I give them the advice, do something fun. This is my fun. And even though I get mad at games that I can't figure out, and and I have bad games, and we all have our little fits when we play our games. It's just kind of par for the course. But all in all, playing these games has been such a big deal for my mental health. And so for me, I went back to my hockey, as I talked about. I went to a lot of basketball the last couple months, and that was fun. Between the regular season basketball and the Strat basketball and a couple other basketball games that I was playing. I think played a little bit of the Roberto Schiavini basketball game too, the Sweet 16 or something like that. So I played a lot of basketball and had a lot of fun, but ultimately hockey is where it is for me. And so somehow I migrated back to hockey, and I think maybe that's just unconsciously is where I needed to be at this point in my life. Yeah. And I tell you, I've been bouncing back and forth, as we talked about, between Strat and Hockey Blast, and I kind of settled on the 69-70 Boston Bruins, and I went on just an imaginary road trip, and I can just picture the Bruins in 69-70 out there playing the Kings and the Seals, and coming back around and playing the Blues and the North Stars, and so I've had them on this road trip, and it's been probably the most therapeutic thing I've ever done in my life. Is sitting here, it's been a tough time, and I have good days and bad days, and sitting down at night, me and the wife have dinner, and sometimes we watch TV, and she goes to bed, and I just sit in the dining room table by myself, and I'll have the radio on, or maybe I'll, if you're streaming a game, I'll have you on the iPad, or somebody else that might have a game, or just whatever. Maybe I'll put on, what I like is yacht rock radio on satellite. That's like all the 70s stuff in the summer.
Virtual cornucopia of your fourth and fifth favorite songs. Yes. I love it. My Madam Speaker, that's one of my go-tos.
What is it? What's the guy's name? Is the Christopher Cross channel, they call it.
Yeah. And the guy that does the voiceovers does a very bad Thurston Howell. Okay, lovey, put another.
I thought it was more of a John Kennedy than it was Thurston Howell.
It's definitely Lovey and Thurston
Was it?
Howell.
Okay, yeah. And it's usually the same 30 or 35 songs,
Yeah, you can't listen to it for hours.
No, because you can only listen to
a good hour and a half at night.
It is. It is, but you only can listen to Rock the Boat so many times. 5. I can listen to it 5 times a day.
That's the first one I remember, as a matter of fact, was Rock the Boat.
Yeah. A funny side story. When I was a kid in the early 70s, I got a stereo. Yeah, I was all excited. And it was one morning I woke up, I think it was a weekend morning, and I had the headphones in with the plug, and I was listening to, what song it was? It was Fly, Robin, Fly.
Fly, Robin,
right?
Fly.
And I'm sitting there just listening to the radio, headphones on, Saturday, Sunday morning, and for some reason I was playing with the headphone corner, and I pulled it out, and I went, Fly, Robin, Fly! And I plugged it right back, oh my gosh, I gotta wake everybody up, because we had a small apartment at the time. It's like, I can just picture my parents coming in and beat me up. What are you doing waking me up, And I was like, ooh, crap, but I didn't wake him up. But I was like, ooh. So I remember Fly, Robin, Fly. I unplugged the headphone jack because I was a kid, 5 years old, just playing around with it, So funny. But anyway, so I'll put on Yacht Rock Radio and play my games, and takes me back to a better time in my life. And I've had some fun with the Bruins there. I played St. Louis first, and they crushed St. Louis. I know it was 5-0 or 6-0. They really beat them up. Then they went into Oakland. The Seals gave them a tough game. The Bruins pulled it out 4-2 or 5-2. And then, holy smoke, I played the L.A. Kings. 69-70 L.A. Kings. The Kings beat the Bruins 8-0 that night. That was nuts. And then I come back around to play the North Stars, and Gump Worsley beat them. Worsley and the North Stars beat them 5-2. So that's just, it's a happy time for me, is going back and playing those games. So I've kind of settled in on the 69-70 Bruins, and I'm playing a road trip against all the other teams. It's been kind of fun. One thing I did notice, Ron, is that A lot, as you know, I jump around. I play the one-offs,
Right.
and I get a thing in my mind. So instead of playing a long project, I'll either play a one-off or I'll play like a series or something. And I did find, though, that after playing 4 or 5 of these Bruin games in a row, that you do start to get very familiar with the team and how things go. And it does make setup a lot faster, and it does make the game a little bit better because you're not fishing around with players and where they go and the whole bit. So, now I know who my lines are, how they're set up, and I can set up the Bruins really fast now. So I did know that's one thing I've never really done. I've never really done a longer project where I've had the same team or teams, when you start getting used to them.
Curious that you say that, because the first long hockey project I did in Action PC was the 75-76 Islanders. Didn't really know about the team, too much about the team. Bossy I knew. I think I've said this before. One of the 18,000 things that we've done together is that, there wasn't a lot of hockey when I was little. Mm-hmm. My mother, I think, watched a Flyers game from 74, 75. And, you can watch football, all the football you want within reason. But don't you dare put a hockey game on.
Yeah, well, let me put this boxing match on for you. Anything but hockey.
We watched a lot of fights. I wasn't a huge boxing fan. Ali obviously was different because his personality just overshone the sport. But this gratuitous violence of hockey, you're just not watching that. And so you knew about when I was a kid, 8, 9 years old, is when the Islanders were at their zenith, and so you heard about them, but you never saw them. And so let me go back and learn about this team. And by the 10th game of that project, you could just kind of see how it all fit together. I think it's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, it's just you're familiar with things, and it's just like, wow, this is kind of neat that I'm familiar with these guys.
Yeah, nope, that they aren't getting anything on the power play this time. The Islanders can shut them down, and they just became. For me, because hockey is not my go-to sport, you just kind of not fall in love. A lot of things just kind of clicked.
You have a relationship with them.
Oh, absolutely.
Even my SEALs team, when I did the shootout hockey replay, by the end of the season, I was familiar with every player on the team, So it's funny you mentioned the Islanders, is because I was on the dog walk today. I did a 2.6 mile dog walk today before we did the show, because you got to stay in shape to do the show, So I'm out there exercising, to keep things going for the show. You know what I mean?
What's your oh my god size of M&Ms that you normally munch now?
Oh, I had those when I come home. I did. Okay. And so one of the videos, I sometimes listen to radio, sometimes I listen to some YouTube, and I listened to this guy talk about the 74-75 Washington Capitals and how bad of a team they were, and he went through the whole spiel. But I guess before that, the 72-73 Islanders were actually one of the worst teams in the league. So it's funny that you played the 75 team, which is only 3 years removed from that horrible 72 team. Now, they were expansion team in 72, so, let's be fair. But, they were pretty bad, but you picked that up in 75. And
the year before was Danny Potvin's rookie year. They had drafted Clark Gillies, but he didn't come through until that year. And it's happened. This is Brian Trottier's rookie year. He's 19 years old. And in my replay, he overperformed. He had 90-some-odd points in real life, which is still incredible for a 19-year-old kid.
Jesus, yeah.
And in my replay, he had 135.
Oh, wow.
And they made the Cup final. They lost to Montreal in 5. We took game 1 at the Forum, and I probably lost the next 4. But yeah, it really was one of those. Just the accomplishment of being able to do that, and then seeing. I mean, one of the nice things about being able to go on the other side of history from looking things from that far back is what that team is capable of doing, which you don't in the middle of something. And you go, well, no, this is the core of the team. There was no Butch Goring or a couple other, and no Bossy yet. But here's the start of a team that would go on to achieve. They won 19 straight playoff series. Okay, yes, Vancouver's some duds along the line there, but they came within the Stanley Cup final of a 5th straight cup.
Yeah.
And it was Gretzky that knocked him down.
Yeah.
No one has even come close to winning 3 straight. No one's won 3 straight cups since then, let alone 4.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, you kind of get an appreciation of what it is. And I've done that with some baseball replays before, started some. Let me pull this team out. You read about, you grow up in New England and a baseball fan, you hear about Ted Williams, you hear about 1946, go back and play and go, oh my God, except for the catcher, this team was incredible. And so, but yes, to go back to the point that you were making is that once you get 7-8 games into a project with the same team, you go, oh, I see how that fit together.
Yeah, it was fun. It was different that I've played 4 or 5 games now in a row with Strat 6970 Bruins, so I'm familiar with the team and I'm familiar with what's going on, and it's just been fun. Even though they're only 2-2 on this road trip, it's been a good time. And so then I played a little bit of a Hockey Blast, and I did a worst of. That's like what I like to do. So speaking of the 70s teams, the 74-75 season I had, so I played the Capitals at the Scouts. The 2 worst teams, they barely had any symbols on their cards. If you know Hockey Blast, you have defensive symbols, penalty kill symbols, and offensive symbols, and there were few and far between in these 2 teams. In fact, the goalie, how you shoot and score in Hockey Blast is that you add up the guy that's taking a shot, he's got a shoot rating, and then sometimes, a lot of the times, he'll have assist ratings from 2 other players. And so you'll get a number between 0 and 6, let's say. So you roll the dice, and as long as you shoot that number or lower, the shooter's on the net. And then the goalie has a number as well. And so you roll a different dice, and if the goalie matches or gets underneath, then it's a save. So to score a goal, you have to be below the shooter number and above the goalie number, if you follow any of that. For the Washington Capitals, I took the worst goalie, which is Ron Lowe, and I had him play. Oh boy, I forget the Scouts goalie right now. I'll think of it in a minute. And the rating for Ron Lowe on the 74-75 Capitals for a save was 0. So meaning any roll of the dice would be considered a goal on the goalie roll. Picture a strat card where 1 through 20 was goal. Right. That's kind of what it was. All that being said, there is one little thing in Hockey Blast, whereas if you roll a 7 and it's a goal, so whereas if you roll a 1 and a 6, let's say, or a 2 and a 5, if you roll any combination of 7, the goalie does have one chance at a spectacular save. And wouldn't you know, I had that come up, a spectacular save for this guy. He needs a 2 or a 12, and I rolled a 2. He made a spectacular save. I think it's the only save he made the entire game. It was funny.
Either Fleur still missed that breakaway for you the first time you played Strat, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he missed the rebound shot at the end of the game.
Okay.
That would have tied it. He was on Quebec. So that was fun playing the 2 worst teams in Hockey Blast. And then I played a couple of better teams. I played Edmonton, Calgary. There was no defense on those teams. There was no defensive ratings. It just, every time it was a save, it said check to see if there's any squares. Nope. It went right back to the offense. So that was fun. And I even did. They have the quick results chart. Quick results table with Hockey Blast, and just for fun, I replayed the entire 84-85 playoffs, starting with the original matchups and then reseeding if I needed to. And there were a couple of small upsets, but when I get down to it, it was Edmonton, Philadelphia in the finals.
Nice.
Yep. And I rolled, and instead of Edmonton winning 4-1, it was the Flyers winning 4-1. So
there would have been no dynasty.
Yep, so that was 84-85, so the Flyers would have won the Cup in 84-85. Well, they did in my replay when I rolled the quick play dice. Yep, so that was kind of fun. So I've been playing some of that. So, it's just been very therapeutic going back and playing some of these games. I ordered the History Maker Golf. I've been watching a lot of videos on that.
I think you'll like that.
At first I was really confused about that because I watched some people play it and they were like, all right, let's see who makes the cut. And I'm like, well, this is not really golf. It's like, I thought this was a golf game. And he's like, well, this guy's out and this guy's in, this guy's out and this guy. Okay, here's the next round. This guy's out, this guy's in. I'm like, it's like, this is not really fun. And then I saw another video where guys were actually playing hole by hole and almost shot by shot, and they were putting. And I was like, well, what is going on? And then I think it was Steve Tower put together a video, and he did the whole thing. It was a long video. And I think he streamed it live.
Very good.
Yeah, and it was like, so now he put it all together. It's like, okay, so the first 3 rounds you're filtering out with just a couple of rolls of the dice, and you're saying this guy's in, this guy's out, this guy's in, this guy's out. And then once you have your final set, you actually roll for scores, which is kind of neat. So you go into the final day, and not only do you see who's there, but you see who's leading the pack and who's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strokes. And it was like, wow, that is, now that I see it all together, it looks really cool. And then now I get to the point in the video where he's rolling the individual holes and starting with the guys at the bottom and like a real golf thing. It's like, wow, that game, it looks like there's a lot to it, but it all really kind of made sense in the videos I saw. So I'm kind of hoping I get it. And
times though with things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'll be rushing that one because I do like golf games. And golf games tend to be more relaxing anyway. Whereas, the hockey games, you want them to flow because hockey's a quick game. So in your mind, you want to go boom, 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 boom. Whereas, and in basketball, that way too. You want to get basketball going quick. Baseball, you can kind of see what happens with the play and then catch your breath and set it all up. And that's how baseball is. But with golf, it's, you guys, while you're looking at stuff, you can kind of picture the guy setting up the shot. And then, when you're looking up, like, what happened, you can picture the ball being in the air is how I look at it there. So I was like, I could visualize, and that's a big thing for me with these games is to visualize the game going on. So I don't want to think I'm at my table playing this. In my mind, I'm on the course, and I want to follow that. So it looked pretty good. So I'm excited to get that in. I did see that they had a lot of fan-made sites. So I downloaded a few of those and printed them out last night. So I'll have some courses to play along with the.
Did you get the real players or did you get the fictional?
I got the real ones.
Okay.
It comes with a few. I don't know how many comes with it.
I don't know if it comes with that. So
I'm not sure, but I got the game. I got one course pack, which I think is 4 courses, and then I got some group of guys. I think it was like a best of. Through 2000 or through 2005 or something like that. I don't know. They had different things. I forget which one I got.
Separate, or did you actually get whatever came with the game?
No, there was 3 things. I got the game, a course pack, and a player pack. Okay. So I'm not sure what's included with the game, but I made sure I had some stuff there. So if they're going to print it and ship it to me, I get it all in one. So I don't think they sell PDFs of any of the stuff there. I think you got to buy it all, and they print it for you. I think. I'm not 100% sure. So anyway, I'm going to play around with that and have some fun with the golf. I do like golf games. I really do. In fact, I like watching on TV. And that Downey, was it Player
the Game
Player
Golf?
The Game Golf. That was fun. How you could just really weed out the players in the first few rounds and then play hole by hole. That was fun. I had a guy get a hole in 1. And I had a guy that shot 8 or 11 or something like that. He had just a disastrous hole. So that game was fun too. That was a good time. The Roberto Schiavini golf game, that was a lot of fun too. I did like that. Yeah.
I haven't played that one.
That's a good one. I had a lot of fun with it. I need to get another season because the season I got, it was like Tiger Woods was the king. And he what we say, he went like 17 under and the next guy was like 9 under. I mean, he destroyed him.
Redid Augusta National after that one.
Yeah. So the year that I got, it wasn't even close.
One feature in 97. So if you go through the other ones.
Maybe it was 90. I was 97, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll have to get some other ones there too so I can play some fairer matches that Tiger's not going to just beat everybody up.
Your guy Fuzzy, you want 79 because that's the year that I think 79 was the year Fuzzy won the Masters.
Okay.
And 84, he went to a playoff in the U.S. Open.
Okay.
Lost it. And so those are the ones that you'd want, Mr. Fuzzy Zeller fan. So
I just like his name, Fuzzy. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
all right, I'll tell you a baseball story. I know how much you love those. It's not what I thought you were going to do there, but go right ahead.
Let's talk baseball.
So back in December, when the new version of Action PC Baseball came out, we'd just coming off the World Series, which the Nationals, who had covered for a couple years before, had won the World Series. It was very good. The Red Sox weren't very good, but, I was so thrilled Washington won it all. And so I was excited for the new game to come out. And the year before, I let my viewers pick what season I did. And going through, and we're doing showing off the new features. And so, what do you want me to play? And so, 1978 came up 2 or 3 times. Now, 1978 was the year that baseball all kind of clicked. It's also the year that we know what happened with the Red Sox. All 4 divisional races were decided within 5 games. In fact, 9 teams had chances to make the playoffs. Including the Boston Red Sox. And so it's always been that one season that if I was going to do the entire thing from tip to trophy, that I would do all 2,130 games. In fact, I've started it a couple times, but boy, you talk about why don't you go do a Scouts Caps game from 75 when you're a third of the way through it?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh, my God, you've got to be kidding me. So it's not one I don't think I could do an entire one from top to bottom. But I knew that I could do 3 games a week, which was the original plan. Not ever thinking that 2020 would turn into the Goo cluster that 2020 has turned into. And so once things started to fall off the rails in March, okay, we'll just do a game a day until we get baseball back. Gives people something to look forward to. It's a season I like. We're getting all the great races. But going back to what the therapeutic part was, we're not sure we're even going to get a baseball season because they're arguing about, not because of the virus, but because the billionaires are arguing with the billionaires about how much they're going to get paid.
What did I hear today? I was on the dog walk and I had sports radio on, and they were saying that they're looking at a 50-game season instead of 100 and.
Well, they normally would do 162.
All right, so the guy today said they were talking about a 50-game season and the players won 100% of their pay to play basically a third of the season.
Both sides are just so wrong.
And it's just, this is an odd year. We all need to adapt. We're all suffering here. I've been out of work for 3 months. I got to suck this up the whole bit. And it's just these guys are, no, we want full pay. We don't want anything less. And I don't care if we play 1 game. And it's just like, wow, you're really, you don't look good.
No. I mean, normally it's the owners that look terrible. This time, it's, in my view, it's the players. So anyway, and so as we've gone on with this, you're going to the therapeutic. Memorial Day weekend usually is a big weekend up here in Burlington. We have the second largest marathon behind Boston in New England. There's 30,000 people up here, and they run right past where we live. We're about a mile from the start. And so at 7:30 in the morning, we got to get up and go downstairs and watch the wheelchairs first, and then the elite runners. And last year they come through twice, and it really is a big deal. This year, Memorial Day, although things had started to open back up slowly, it didn't feel like Memorial Day. There was no marathon. There was hardly anyone downtown. And so it's just been kind of meh. Even this morning, I'd say we're about 70% open here in Vermont. This morning, kind of a chilly day. It was 55 degrees. No one out. Man, it's summer, for crying out loud. We're taping this on the 14th.
Yep.
And so just going back to what you said about the therapeutic, being able to go back to that season and go through has been, for me, that way. Because it's normal. You go back to, for you, it's the hockey. For me and a lot of my viewers, it's the base, whatever it is. Okay. Not that this was the greatest thing since sliced bread, but at least it was normal.
Mm-hmm.
By the middle of June, we should be talking about where you're going on summer vacation. You got all sorts of good golf coming up because you got 3 majors in about 8 weeks. Wimbledon coming up. All the things that make summer. We should be here and no, we haven't really started any of that.
Yeah, no, it is. And that's why I've been really, I think that's why I've been doing it on the table is as I was doing a lot of computer games.
For you.
Yeah, because I was doing, the Strat PC hockey, Action PC hockey. I was doing some, basketball from both companies. I was using the helper a lot. I like the Strat hockey helper. I even like the shootout hockey helper. And I find that I'm upstairs on the table playing. And just rolling the dice and looking and playing this completely manual, and it's much more personal. And I love playing on the computer, and it makes for great streaming. Don't get me wrong.
Personal stuff is a huge factor in it.
And right now, that's what I need. I don't need to kick up my feet and just click buttons on the computer. I need to physically look at the cards. I want to roll the dice. I want to feel the things in my hand. I want to see the game played in front of me. And that was, it just kind of happened. And for me, maybe that's where it needs to be right now is, I don't turn on any TVs. I don't turn on any news usually. I don't want to hear that stuff because it's maddening what's going on. It's depressing what's going on. And so if I, and not that you want to keep your head in the sand by any means. That's not what I'm saying.
No, but there's only so much that any person can
Exactly. There's only so much bad news you can take. And it's two rights aren't making a wrong. Right now we got 100 wrongs trying to make a right. Now, maybe I said that wrong, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Right.
And so I'm sitting at the table, Ron, and I'm telling you, and I'm playing these games, and I'm writing the recaps out and posting them and sharing with people, and I'm enjoying reading the other people's recaps, and I'm pleasantly surprised to see how many people, not only in the Digital to Dice group, but some of the other groups, there's like a little revival for the shootout hockey game.
I'm delighted to see that. It is a good game. It's a great game, and I'm delighted that's been there. The other thing that I'm kind of grateful for, I have known about Roberto Schiavini's games for 5-6 years. I've seen them, but they don't necessarily cards and dice and or charts and tables doesn't always translate well into good videos, and so you want to go through. It's like, how can one person have something that goes the gamut from the NBA to Taekwondo? Okay. And so you, I think, were the one that bought something. You found that you had killed the power play. Did you buy something at first? I mean, what?
I had contacted him, unbeknownst to me, about a year ago, and I bought Kill the Power Play. For some reason, I printed it out, had the directions sitting here in my drawer, and I just never got to it because that's when I really started to get into the cards and dice. And right. And the thing is, I was buying everything. I mean, every game I could find. Yeah, and so that was before we started doing the show. So like, oh, look at this game. Oh, look at this game. So I would buy all these games, and I'd print them out, and I'd have them. And some I would try, and some I just never got. There's still some I haven't got to. I got a couple. I think I got a horse racing game somewhere that I printed out and started to read, and then went on to the next game. So, I went back, and when I played Kill the Power Play, I was like, "Wow, this game is a lot more fun than I thought." And then I contacted him. I think I got a couple of other seasons, or maybe I bought all the seasons. I don't remember how that went. I did a couple of videos, and then you got involved, and we got a nice relationship.
I mean, I'm going to diss baseball here for a second, okay? Would you like to clutch your heart now or wait till I'm done?
Go ahead.
I mean, we've all done, there's endless Babe Ruth, Pete Rose, Willie Mays replays out there. We've, and that's fine because I'm a fan of the sport and all that. But these people who have trained all their lives to get 30 seconds of airtime on television once every 4 years deserve that attention as well. And one of the things I forget which Roberto game I played first. I have so many now. But it's like, oh, you know what it was? It was the track and field one. It was the one that he doesn't, none of his games are printed. So one he doesn't really want to sell anymore was Central Lanes Athletics. And I think the first thing I did was the 84 100-meter dash for the men. Carl Lewis won it in real life. And that's the year that the Soviets boycotted. So the Americans won everything. There's the great episode of The Simpsons when they flash back to 84. And Krusty Burger is going to give away a burger for every time the Americans won a medal. And the Soviets boycott, and so Krusty goes broke because they're giving away so many Krusty burgers because we're winning everything. What in gymnastics? No. Anyway,
there was hold that Russia story because my dad told me a story that he played on a beer league back in probably before I was born, or maybe when I was a baby. And he played, the barroom sponsored the team, and they had lost every game. And it was the last game of the season. The bar owner says, if you guys win, he goes, I'll buy a round for everybody in the team for every goal you win by. And he said they won 8-0. They come in with a score sheet, and they're like 8. And the bartender's like, well, so they got 8 rounds for free for everybody on the team. So getting back to that Russia story there about, you tried to be careful because you never know what's going to happen.
Right, because in '84 they won things that they should never have won at that. If the Warsaw Pact was there, no weightlifting, no wrestling, half the boxing stuff. Anyway, it was just an incredible orgy of American patriotism in Los Angeles. So I did the 100 meters, and Lewis got beat.
Oh wow!
By Sam Grady, who finished second, and I think did some bobsledding later on because you need that fast out of the gate. And, trying to figure out, okay, Roberto does things in chunks, and then it's an average time per chunk, and you roll against that. And when I was done, I looked up the result. Like, I knew that Lewis had won, but I said, gosh, that seems like slow. It was 9:99. And when I looked it up on Wikipedia, what the winning time for the race was, it was 9:99.
Oh wow!
He nailed it.
Wow!
Whatever the winning time was in the 8 for that Lewis ran, that was the actual time for the race. Oh, I get this. And so I'm not usually a huge fan of the quick play games, and I would get more. And everything that I've played has just been, oh. And so, to try to give some of those people who, don't get a lot of love in general, they've worked all their lives to be a figure, the gymnast or the archer or the Greco-Roman wrestler, to give them some of that attention that we give to Joe Montana, Gordie Howe. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. And it's a challenge. I like being challenged. So that sort of thing. And so if there's one thing that I'm kind of grateful about all this, if we had just kind of gone on as business as usual, I probably wouldn't have tried it.
Right.
But because here you go, figure this out and challenge yourself. It's important to be productive and important to stream. And I think you and I streamed 70 straight days, maybe.
We did a lot, between the support chat and our regular stuff,
Right. I mean, we did a lot.
It was a busy March and April and May,
Yeah. I'm not sure I would have tried it. Or I might have taken one glance at it and went, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing, too. It says, because of this, I've played a lot of games. I played a lot of basketball games. It started with regular season basketball, and now we have a pretty good relationship going on with Marco, and he's now making new seasons for the game because so many people bought it. That's fantastic. And same with Roberto Schiavini. He's coming up with more seasons for Kill the Power Play. He's having sales all the time. He's, with all the stuff, and it's nice to see a little revival with some of these games like you were talking about, even shootout hockey. They're getting some love now, and John's, put out a new season, and he's thinking about doing some older seasons now because a lot of people are playing it. So it's nice to see that people are enjoying these games. They're discovering these games, and the developers are starting to add on some seasons to these games. And it's much more personal, too. It's the big games are great, but you don't have that personal relationship that you do with the smaller games. And you can contact the smaller games and work with them on some things and maybe suggest a season or suggest somehow something might change, or, hey, I got a homebrew I want to use, or what do you think about this? And they're usually pretty receptive to it. And if they're not, then they give you a reason why. And, didn't think of that, And so that's been fun playing, and we did a whole show on quick play games, or maybe a couple of shows on quick play games. The instant gratification, do not rule out a quick play game for lack of fun. Quick play game is fun. They can be really fun.
It can be just as dramatic as the full-fledged thing.
Yep, and you get it a lot faster. And that's why it's nice to have that mix of, the full hour and a half venture or a 5-minute game. It's really fun to have.
yeah. So, if there's been a silver lining in all of this, it's been that. And so, I'm looking forward to, I think I said earlier in this thing. Oh, so, two other points. From episode 0, when we started this back almost a year ago, it's about a year and about 6 weeks, right? We did. What was our first one? Was in mid-July or something? So maybe
late July, early August.
So we've been doing this about 50 weeks or whatever. I said, I think on that first show, that this is the golden age of sports sims. And I'm going to say it again. This is the golden age of sports simulations. You can replay anything your heart desires.
Mm-hmm.
You can go from high school football. Those games offered to me, they're all it's not anything I can put in Excel, so I haven't done it, to figure skating, to the standard stuff. I mean, you did the 1899 Cleveland Spiders. Mm-hmm. You might be the only person ever interested in doing it, but you could.
Yeah. Yep.
And just stuff that if you had gotten into this in the 80s when we were teenagers, you would have thought of it. You would have wanted the most recent Bruins season or whatever you to do that, to right the wrong. I'm finally going to beat Montreal in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. You can literally do that. And we've watched people create games and sell them. I mean, Anthony in Glory Days Boxing, he now has 3 or 4 expansion sets out from that. And not that there's another boxing games out there, but this is it, folks. Whatever itch you want to scratch, whatever memory you want to relive, you can pretty much do that now.
Yeah. And you can go back to a time that was important to you in your life for whatever reason it was, right. and play something and enjoy it. And that's what I've been doing, is going back. In fact, depending on what's going on, I might think about, now that I played some of these games, I might think about going back and picking an old Bruins team and playing their entire schedule. Not the whole season, not every team, but maybe playing, pick one of the Bruins teams and go back and play all 80 games as a long-term project and just see what my results are. Now that I'm into the groove and stuff, and hopefully I'll be back to work soon, so I won't have as much time anymore to do that. But maybe I can still pick off a couple games a week, and I don't need to play 1,000 games. I just need to play the 79 or 80 games that the Bruins are playing and see what they did. See what their season record is. How many goals would Phil Esposito get for me? If I really wanted to do that, and I could do it a lot quicker with Hockey Blast. Because that goes a little bit quicker than Strat. Or Shootout. And I've already done Shootout with the Seals, but
you took a good team with Shootout and what you like to play. As long as you're not sitting there going 6-7 games at a time.
Mm-hmm. Or if I really wanted to, and this is something that just kind of crossed my mind as we were talking here, the Hockey Blast, they have that quick results chart.
Yeah, you had said that you got in the flyer.
It's one roll, and so you look at the chart, you see where the game is, and you determine whether it's going to be a win, loss, or tie. And with one roll of the dice. So you could, in theory, play the entire 84-85 season. Well, I don't know how many games there are, but let's just say it's 1,000 games. It's 1,000 dice rolls, one at a time. And you just have to kind of keep some kind of win-loss. You couldn't keep goals or anything like that, but it would be a win-loss. Mm-hmm. So if you wanted to keep standings, if you wanted to do that. So, you could play an entire season with one roll of the dice for every game. And there's no factoring in that with that chart there. Now, obviously, it's a very generic, basic chart. It's not, there's no offense and defense, and then figure out a close game factor or a killer instinct. There's none of that, So, but it would be fast because it would just, who's playing here, roll, winner. Who's playing here, roll, winner. And so you could just keep standings like that. So you could actually play an entire season. And it might be kind of fun. That might be kind of something that I would think about maybe doing, to see how the Capitals do in 74-75. how many games would they win? And you could do that. You could probably do it in a 20 minutes. Once you get that might be another project for me. Is the 74-75 Capitals using that quick sheet there? Roll the dice and see how many games can they win. Might be kind of fun to see how the Capitals do. So many fun products can be done with the quick play games too. But just going back to a different time and enjoying and just getting away from things. And in fact, there was one group, and we'll finish up here in 1 second. There was a group that wasn't even there was two groups. There was one that was a sports group, and there was one that was not. It was just a solo game player group. And somebody started bringing in current events. And it's just like, and people are like, look, whether we agree or we don't agree, we come here
to get away
for
from that.
Gaming. We close the door on the outside world. We tired of it. We're tired of everybody in the outside world and current events, and whether you agree or disagree, or whether you like this person or don't like that, but don't bring it in. And that's the thing with our Facebook group too, is that it's games and games only. And if anybody tries to bring anything else into it, we don't stand for that. And no matter what way you look at the world, whatever. It's just, and I left a couple of the groups. And I agreed with some of the things, and I still left because I didn't want that.
That's not what you want. Yeah.
No, I come here for games. I want to read about games and who's playing what and get help with my games. And when I turn off the news, I want the news off. And it was too bad that these groups, and a lot of people said they were going to be leaving the groups, and that's how toxic it can be, and that's why we get away from this. So that's why I go on my table, I play my games. And it's very therapeutic for me, especially after the phone call I got from my friend there. It was very concerning. So getting all back to that was just like, so I'm trying to take my own advice and do something productive and do something fun. And playing these games have been fun, sharing them with the people here on the podcast, the Facebook group, some of the Delphi forum. It's just been fun. Sometimes I try to put some humor into my write-ups and with that. Other times they're just straight up write-ups, and it's fun for me. It's soothing for me, and it beats a lot of the things I could be doing with my life right now. So
absolutely.
So anyway, so thanks to everybody who kind of stuck through our little fireside chat, we'll call this. We didn't really have a topic in mind. We just kind of chatting about the games that we enjoy playing. As much as we might gripe and complain and bitch and moan about the games, it's mostly good. We get a little spoiled with what we got, and we get a little upset sometimes. But all in all, it's what we enjoy playing, and whether it's a project or a one-off or the whole bit, it's been very enjoyable, and I enjoy the interaction with everybody here on the show, whether they comment on YouTube or on Spreaker, or whether they comment on the Facebook groups or whatever. Sometimes they send personal messages. It's kind of nice too, and so it's just fun sharing this hobby with so many people, and there's way more good than bad in this hobby, and so just keep that in mind. So Anyway, so should we wrap up episode 44?
Let's wrap it up.
Yes, we're living by the numbers, and today's number is 44. That is the episode of Digital to Dice you've been listening to. Ways to get a hold of us, digitaltodice.com. Over on Spreaker, that's where we park all of our podcasts. Let's see, Facebook group, facebook.com/group/digital to dice. And the voice and text line, 978-751-DICE, 978-751-3423. Reach us on the Dice line. Text us, say hi. Ron, any final thoughts?
I'm good.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm going to go play some more. Got to figure out what I'm going to do. That 74-75 quick play capital sounds pretty good right now, doesn't it? Someone else suggested that a while ago. So
You really are a glutton for punishment.
I do. Talk to everybody later. Bye-bye.